All right, buckle up. This Scout Barber 60, we're tearing this thing down all the way to the frame. The plan of attack, we're gonna start at the handlebars, get that situated, deal with the brakes. Then we're gonna take the gas tank off and, I'm just gonna get straight into this. Let's do it. First thing I need to do is deal with this wiring. There we go. Have to look at it for a brief moment. There's a lot of wires in here. Signal lights are running in here. I think some of this, I don't know what some of this stuff goes to. Wheel speed sensors or something. I don't know why it would be. It may be routed through here. Got left signal lights because all this stuff has to get pushed through the back end of this. A lot of stuff fits in this bucket. So this is the wheel speed sensor. Goes to the brake caliper right there. This is the connector for that. And the plan here now is to disconnect the handlebar from the harness, and we can keep the wires internally routed. So we got these two right here leading up to the top, and then we'll have to deal with the clutch line and deal with the brake line. On this one, so we got this first connector, push in the middle, pull. This one's a little tricky. I have not been able to get this one apart. Oh, okay. All right, actually, let's do that again. This little tab, you pull up, and it has a little lip in there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's free. Next, we're gonna evacuate the front brakes because I'm gonna disconnect this so I can remove the entire handlebar. I got basically a scrunchie on this, so as I evacuate, it's gonna keep the master cylinder open to allow all the brake fluid to go through. And we're gonna connect our bleeder to connect our hose right there to this right here. It's gonna suck the fluid out. So the reason I put gloves on, if you don't know, brake fluid is, while it doesn't burn your skin immediately, or well, not burn your skin, but while it doesn't do anything immediately to your skin, over time it will cause your skin to dry out really bad, as it has for me in the past. So that is why I wear gloves when I deal with this stuff now. I don't like having like cracky fingers just cracking consistently. We sucked a lot of that fluid out. There's still gonna be some residual in there, so I'm gonna take this off. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this top piece off. I'm just gonna clean up the little bit that's in here. Wow, I didn't take any of that out. What the heck? None of that fluid came out. What the heck? Yeah, so I just realized why that fluid did not come out. When I had the lever pulled in, that is actually pushing the pistons out, and clearly there's nothing for the pistons to bottom out against because there's no rotor. So basically, yeah, I didn't have any pressure, so that fluid was not gonna come out. But now that I have this not being pressed, that is not gonna open this up, which will produce air, and that is gonna allow that fluid to actually come out this time. Just a simple mistake. Some fluid is still gonna come out, but it's not gonna be nowhere near just like a stream. It shouldn't anyway. I have been wrong. There we go. So yeah, you're still gonna get some, but nothing like it would have been had I not evacuated that line. The top master cylinder is done. Now we have to deal with this clutch cable. There is no adjustment here. So to get that off, we need to adjust it down here. We're gonna loosen this nut up, and that's gonna give us some slack at the top. Tell you what, there's not a lot of space for adjustment on this thing. I had to go call on the manual for this one, but we loosen up the jam nut at the top. We don't mess with the adjustment at the bottom, but they want you to push this arm down. As actually the clutch lever, see it's pulling the arm down, and we should be able to get it. This is a little different from Chief. You just loosen it at the bottom and it's done. Channel locks on it. Lift it, and you gotta get that cable up out of there. Let's go big mouth on it. There we go. Big mouth, big mouth. Yep, there we go. And now the cable's free. Should have the slack. Yep. This comes out like that. That actually could use some grease on it. Now the handlebars are completely free. All right. fluid may come out of this. Who knows? Yeah, there's some still in there. See it? Need to drain that. Caliper is free. That done. Deal with this tank. Fuel pump line right here. Squeeze, pull. And we have the actual fuel pump line. Squeeze. Let's push up on it and then pull down. Maybe that's what it is. There we go. I had to push up on it. That, man, that was tight. There we go. All right. Now this tank should come off. There's a lot of little pieces that go on this tank that are not on here. So somebody that's taking apart a regular Scout that hasn't been wrecked, that's not missing pieces, there's gonna be some extra little tabs and brackets and stuff that you're gonna have to disconnect, but fundamentally it's the same. It's time for my handy dandy bearing snatcher. We're gonna use the weight of the bike to give us leverage to snatch this out. If you try to snatch this out with this thing not being mounted to anything, it's gonna be a freaking nightmare. Might be able to get the first few tries. Perfect. That bearing actually still looks pretty good. So the one at the bottom, I'm not gonna worry about this race because when I have this stuff powder coated, as long as there's like no nibs or anything, which you can see seems to be pretty good, I'm gonna leave that in there. But for that top one, you know, being that there's grease inside of the bearing, when you have that stuff powder coated, it dries them out. This bearing actually looks really good, so there's still some life in it. I have another set on the shelf, but you know, I'm not gonna replace it if it ain't damaged or broken. We'll see. We got the sticker on the frame right there, and we have the sticker on the frame with the VIN number. Both of these will have to come off before powder coating. The most important one is this one because it has the VIN number. I need that for when I get the bike inspected, but we're not gonna worry about that now. We're gonna get back to taking this thing apart. There are multiple ways to take an engine out of a bike. In this case, we're not taking the engine out of the bike. I want to leave the engine there. I want to disconnect the parts of the frame from around the bike, or from around the engine. So if we go off of the manual, we need to take the exhaust off, and then we need to start taking the rear end off. But they want you to keep the front end on to have stability. Since we don't have that option, I'm gonna take the exhaust off since I know that needs to come off next, and then I'm gonna make my way back because we can't get the swing arm off until we get the exhaust off. We don't have access to it. Headers, we got one bolt right there. And we got one at the bottom. The one at the bottom is not so much of a problem. The one at the top is, there's not enough space to get in from here. So I'm gonna go in from the back side and I should get it on the front. We got that one right there, and we got the one at the bottom. The one at the top is easy. The one at the bottom is a little bit more challenging. I've already put some PB Blast or WD-40 on it to loosen these up, so we should be good. All right, that's one. The one at the top is a lot easier to get to if you come from this side. Here's a top view of what we're working with. Here is it from the where the tank normally sits. You're looking straight down in there. You actually get good clearance from the top. But if you don't want to take the tank off, you can just come in from the side. The one at the top has decent room. WD-40 these things before you start, and you'll have a lot easier of a time. I'll get that later. The easiest way to do this one, you have the ratchet wrench. You put a finger on it to make sure it doesn't move, and you do it. Yeah, so it's almost off. I'm just gonna come to the other side, put my hand through here, and just twist it off. Just like that. Of course you don't want to do this when it's hot, unless you're just about that life. I'm not. left side of the bike, I gotta get down there to that oxygen sensor. So the oxygen sensor runs up, and that is where it bolts into the header. Got one in the front and the rear. Probably not the easiest way to get to it, but you know, trial by fire right now. All right, there's a zip tie. I just clipped. I'm just gonna free that up. All right. I'm not 100% sure how to get this rear oxygen sensor off. It's right here, but the ECM is right here. So I believe the manual tells you to take the ECM out just to get to this. We're gonna see if we can get to it behind this panel. Okay. Now the sensor is right here. So we got a zip tie right in there. That is actually holding the cable. How am I gonna get in there? To be real with you, by the time I fight that little slot to try to finagle this stuff out, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the battery out, push that little piece, slide. I'm gonna get this thing out and just work with more space. I've saved more time just taking more pieces off that gets me access to something than trying to finagle my way around it by not taking something off. I mean, it doesn't always work, but in a lot of cases, man, it's just easier to just take certain stuff off. Because if you spend 10 minutes finagling something, 20 minutes, 30 minutes finagling something, and you could have just spent 5 taking certain stuff out, it's just easier to take that stuff out. There's a clip down here on the battery I gotta deal with. Oh, okay, gotta get that off. So this battery is from August 2022. Good battery. I'm gonna put this thing on charge and while we work, because this bike is gonna be down definitely for a good little while. It's my first time taking out a Scout battery, man. Never got the chance to do this on my other one. So I can get it out now. There we go. Okay, with that done, there's less stuff for the bike to go boom. We'll move the starter solenoid out the way. Fun fact, I actually put a starter solenoid from a Scout on one of my Indian Chief because it's the exact same part. So now I'm close to the ECM. I really just need space. It's really hard to get in here, man. There we go. Good Lord, that is hard. I probably could have did that without removing the battery, but I was gonna remove it anyway. Only reason I hate doing stuff like that is because if you're not careful, you will cut the wire. If you cut that wire, bro, you're gonna have a really bad day. I may have to come back and watch this myself on how I got that in there. That's yeah, that's a little irritating, not gonna lie. Oxygen sensors are disconnected, the header bolts are disconnected. I think this is the only thing that's holding this. Luckily, the stock cans are not on here, because that would have made my life even worse. Billy, help! What's holding this freaking thing, man? Keith, what's holding this freaking thing, man? Foot bracket definitely is probably holding it. Okay, let's see with that out of the way what happens. Okay. Bruh. I never want to do this again. I hate this. This is so stupid. Up until this point, man, everything on this bike has come off like it was supposed to. Nothing kinked or hard to get off. But this freaking exhaust, man, you can see scuffing up the freaking frame. I cannot get this out. I put a piece of tape on the flange just to keep it from moving, but it is not coming up out of there. Nope, let's gonna pick the bike up. Bro, what? It's part of the header. I mean, the cylinder head's messing with it, man. It's free. Whatever, I'm just about to move on, man. Something's off here. I don't know, it's just, I can't get this out. So I got way too much stuff to do to worry about this exhaust. So I got access to the swing arm. I'm gonna start taking that off. Wait, is that tightening? I am running out of steam for the day. And one thing I know is if I'm getting stuck on something, I need to keep going because I only have a limited amount of energy for the day. Probably gonna back off with this 5 turns. 5, I'm gonna do the other side the same way. 4, and 5. That's about right. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Why is this so hard to come off? I think the weight distribution of the bike being so off, this is making this hella hard to come off. It's freely turning, but man, is this thing hard to get off, bro. Yeah, so I've created a bit of a problem. So not having the front end on the bike, I believe it's putting more tension on that belt on the other side, because even after loosening up the tension on the belt, this is not moving and the tension on the belt is still tight. So the belt is connected to the rear sprocket, the front sprocket, and here on the rear sprocket. But being that this engine sitting on the jack and there's no front end, all of that weight is basically putting pressure on that belt, which is making, basically it's not allowing this to come out as easy. Yep, it's about time for me to quit, man. It's about time for me to quit because I'm over here doing dumb stuff. Doing absolutely dumb stuff. Why am I over here trying to take off the freaking axle from the locking nut side and not from the head of the axle? Out of all the stuff I've done, I have never made that mistake, man. Never made that mistake. All right, now my belt's loose, wheels moving. Come on. I didn't take the brake caliper off, shouldn't have to, but we're gonna see. There we go. Yay, the engine didn't fall off the jag when I pulled the tire off. Hooray. Yep. I am running out of space. Oh dear God, what have I done? Don't mind me, you know, just cheating the engineers because they want you to take this exhaust off first and I can't get this exhaust off, so we're cheating. We are cheating. Dang it. Because I'm tired of it. Oh, I could have used my freaking short one. I'm trying to do it this way, but yeah, I got tired of dealing with that. So we went with the shorty. And we know the shorty is gonna worky. Brackets off. Right, so swing arm, we'll put an adjustable wrench on this side. And we got a 14mm on that side. That'll pull this axle, not axle, pivot bolt. Pivot axle, yeah. All right, we got it moving. Here. It's fighting me. Oh my goodness. Getting a little past point of no return, so I need to get this off because I can't take that pivot bolt out. I gotta elevate the swing arm. And it's starting to get a little beyond without damaging something, so put that back in there. So we know where it goes for now. Let that sit right there. Take this off. This is the belt guard from the bottom. Upper belt guard. What's funny is this is the first time I've seen the Torx bit outside of the pieces on the handlebars. So I am curious what makes them decide to use one of these over just a regular Allen key. I don't know. Check that out. This was produced by ELR, July 16th, 2020. Thank you, ELR. Fender. Shocks. Hopefully this comes off pretty easy. All right. All right. Ooh, wrong way. All right, easy peasy. All right, top. Gotta make a note that there's a washer on the top. All right. Before we get the right one off, we need to support the swing arm. So as soon as I take that off, this thing's gonna slam and hit the ground. Oh, that's why we have that. Come on, oh, this thing's long. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get in here and get this thing off. I got the other side wedged against the floor, so it'll keep that breaker bar from turning. There we go. The socket was not the perfect thing to use, but I don't have two breaker bars because I typically only need one breaker bar, but that thing was just so freaking tight. And like I said, I used the floor to wedge it against it, so sometimes you have to get creative with this stuff. I said socket, I meant ratchet, because there's not much leverage on that handle. But here's the thing, could I have put an impact on it? Yes, I have an impact, but I like showing you guys you don't need big tools to do this stuff. Yes, it is more work, but when you're just starting out, you want to get into this, the last thing I feel like you need is to have the excuse that I need this to do it. I'm doing this with a Harbor Freight jack, a set of socket and some wrenches with a little bit of creativity. Yes, I have other tools like, you know, the Torx bit, the Allen keys, the breaker bar, but the majority of this stuff it's not big machinery. It's just having some grit to do it. Let's continue. I wonder if the engine is gonna like go crazy forward when I do this. Nope, that's it, it's free. That's literally all that's holding it. Oh, and the belt, they get the belt from around it. Slide the swing here. Just gonna do this. And there's our swing arm. Oh, this is nowhere near as heavy as the Chief. My goodness, this thing's lightweight. I'll go ahead and get the sprocket cover off, two up top. There's also two at the bottom. Whoa, no! It's not trying to do that. I want it close to where it originally was because this is going to be basically the right setup where the tightness of the belt is. Like I said, I'm doing that because I mean, I don't have to do this, but I really want the belt to be exactly where it was. It's been spikes of 2021, so it's around that time where the tightest spot on the belt's gonna move. So we're just gonna, just in case this comes off, I'm gonna put that there. We'll know kind of where this was, and basically I'll know, hey, it was at the top. All right, I had to take a break, but the reason I don't like to take breaks is because when I sit down, especially if I eat something, start watching some YouTube, I get lazy. But we're back about an hour and a half later. Let's get back to it. Shift link. Ooh. I am stronger than I think I am, man. Foot bracket, 8 millimeters. We're close, y'all. We're so close. Those things you just gotta take it slow. Yep, just take it slow, it'll come off. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely hate brake fluid. But we gotta get this fluid out, and I gotta get this caliper off. I also gotta get this bracket off. Please don't fight me too much. It's gonna hurt. Actually, let's see if I can put this between my feet. Ow, that finger. That wasn't the finger I was thinking was gonna hurt. All right, that's done. Now let's get that wheel speed sensor off. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've done this. Oh, this is gonna suck. I forgot to take the dang caliper. I thought I took these things loose, man. I should have did this on the bike while I was still on the swing arm. I get it, no worries. It's gonna suck though. Back on the front. Probably should have just did this earlier, man. But like I said, I freaking hate brake fluid, man. Let's see how much I got left in here. Okay, I didn't get all of it out, but I got a good amount. Clean that up. So I'm gonna use this to soak it up. Brakes are gonna get 100% blade again anyway. Okay, all these crush washers, we got new ones. No biggie. Put that back in there. 2 screws off, 2 bolts off. As we know, Indian calls them screws. You are screwing it in, but I guess you could say you bolted it in too, right? So now, clear access to the frame. All right, this part, if you remember, when I was messing with the engine the first time around, I did not torque these down. So my hope is that these come off fairly easily. Dear God. Well, they're pretty good. I don't remember super tightening those down, but oh well, roll away. I don't need you. This is the part that's gonna scare me, man, because I think I may have to drain this radiator. Don't think there's a way around this, but we're going to see. Hoping I can get around it. Part of me feels like I'm at the finish line of this. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna encounter something that's gonna have me out here till 3 a.m. I know it. I'm looking at the frame in the manual, and it does not say anything about removing oil or removing radiator fluid. So I may get lucky. Oh crap, it says right there, Lord Jesus, remove radiator assembly. Oh dear God. I'm looking at this right now, man. The radiator is right here. I don't see how it would be in my way if I took this off right here and took it off right here from the other side, and I guess just lift this thing up off of here. I'm hoping it's that easy. I really do. This can only go one of 2 ways. Good or bad. Respectively, easy or hard. That's 1. And this is 2. We're learning together, about to figure out. Whoa. Lifting the engine, boy. That is in there. Oh, I see. Oh, I see why you gotta remove this. Oh, you suck. Wow, Indian, I hate you. Hey, yo, whoever engineered this, you are an evil person. Look at that. There's a freaking nut on the other side. you have to find something to hold that. That is why they want you to remove the radiator, so you can get to that. I may be able to get to it from the bottom. I'm gonna try. Man, I freaking fooled myself thinking this was gonna be something that I could do without dealing with this. Oh, did I freaking fool myself, man. Oh, Brandon, this is your punishment for thinking that you could cheat the engineers. This is payback. Down in here, we got the fan. Pull that out. Lift up on that tab, pull. Ow, easy peasy. All right, so the radiator is moving. That's good news. Okay, and these are the two hoses, one at the bottom, and there's one at the top. So I imagine the one at the top is gonna be the inlet, and this is gonna be the out of the radiator. I bet the engineers are somewhere freaking laughing at me right now. Hey, look at this fool. He really thought he was gonna get by? Yes. You right, I did. But yeah, I can see why if you just disconnect this, all of this just comes out 100%, all of it. There is a bracket up under here. Oh, there's the bracket. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you on the hook, those two pieces that comes off in the horn. We just slightly give these a tug, comes off. On the older Scouts, I don't think the horn is actually mounted here. This is just one solid bracket, I think. All right, pretty simple. Coolant drain, right there at the bottom left of the radiator. So I'm gonna pull that plug. Radiator fluid is gonna shoot everywhere. I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna have to clean it up. All right, here we go. Oh, you just gonna shoot like that for real, bro? Oh, this should be coming up though. Oh, bleeder valve. I mean the top. Forgot, gotta introduce some air slowly. Ooh, ooh, yep, talk to me. There we go. Oh, God, no. Oh, Jesus, man, it did exactly what I didn't want it to do. And this is why I hate doing this type of work. God. I only make mistakes like that one time. Next time, use the Harbor Freight bucket you got before the accident happened. My goodness, Brandon. You had the bucket. How the hell didn't you use the damn bucket? Here's me trying to use stuff what it's intended for. I guess a bucket. That's stupid. Every tool is a hammer, man. This thing could have freaking... Yeah, that's an oil pan. It's an antifreeze pan. This freaking bucket could have done the same thing. Oh, God. This is stupid. That's a better way. There we go. Now, if this doesn't come off, I can use a heat gun or I can use my hose clamps. Playing this game again. Alright. Last but not least, it's this one up top. Hopefully I can get to this without taking off the air box. May have to, but we're gonna see if we can get it. Air box. Take that off. Hose clamps, man. Okay. God. I don't remember this thing being this on here that good. Oh my gosh. Good old channel locks. A little heat to it. Alright, I don't know how much fluid is gonna come out this thing, man. I really don't. Hopefully not that much. I just cleaned my flow, man. Come on. There's some in here, I don't think there's a lot though. It's from the top. Alright. Nothing else is being held. That tube is being pinched to the top. There we go. And the radiator is, oh, I see what's going on. Oh, I got one more cable. Whoopsie. There we go. I think I can still put a new one in there, I think. Okay, I'll figure that out later. Radiator's officially out. Dear God. So I'm still in there. With the radiator gone, now you can see that nut on the inside. That's a spacer also. Nut on the inside. I don't know if there's a spacer on that side, but now we should be able to get the front of this frame off. It's 18 on the inside. So what I'm gonna do is, as I'm lifting on the outside, or rather pulling on the outside, do the same on the inside. There we go. That went exactly to plan. Hold this. Oh!
Are you okay?
Wow. Yeah. Ouch. Was not expecting that. Ow. Didn't expect that one. And this one came out easy. So, let's see, front frame. There's something else holding this thing like a dowel. I'm gonna take this mallet, tap it. There we go. There's a dowel on the inside. This is the frame, man. The main frame. It looks to be good for the most part, I believe. Yeah, it looks to be good. It didn't struggle to come off. It did bang my knee up, but it's part of the game. Okay, the elephant in the room, this stupid exhaust, man. I don't know why I couldn't get this thing off. The clearance just was not there for me, man, but now, I still can't get this thing off. Holy crap, there's nothing. It's just, there it is. So, I think the plan, when I go back with this exhaust, because I probably will put this back on, I have really no reason to not use this exhaust. I'm probably gonna put this back on before I put the other part of the frame on. The problem is, if I do that, I can't get the swing arm on. I'm gonna have to think about that, because I don't wanna have to fight this thing as the way I fought it today, I really don't. But I'd imagine if I'm getting it in, it may be easier getting it in than trying to get it out, but we'll see. We're almost at the finish line. Got a little bit more left to do. I just gotta get the rear frame pieces off. Mrs. Bicasso's in the garage. She's looking at me like, are you done yet? No, she's not doing that. But we're almost at 12 hours into this, but other than the exhaust, to be completely honest, everything has been smooth sailing. Everything has come off like it was supposed to. It's just, I got hung up on it. So let's see if we can get the rear part of these frame pieces off. Should be done. The manual says to get these two off, the battery box is a step. There's not much to get the battery box out, so it's only like, I don't know, like 4 screws in here. What's funny is that I was thinking like, oh yeah, you know, I can bypass that. I don't need to do that. And then we got to the front end and there was no way we're getting past that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the battery box out so I know we're following what the engineers wanted, because I've been cheating the engineers and they're laughing at me right now. So let's do that. I see why you gotta get this stupid battery box out, because it's connected to the other side of the frame on the inside. That makes sense. Darn you engineers for making this thing secure. Got all the screws out, and I gotta get this little tab that separates the battery box from the coolant reservoir. I think solenoid all of this stuff overflow. Right now, it'll come out. Right, okay. Boy, battery boxes. Indian motorcycle. We are arch nemesis.
So apparently there's a control box,
a junction box rather, for these wires on the bottom of this. Might have broke that. We'll put some double-sided tape in those stay where they need to be. This is the stuff that slows me down right here. Not front suspension, taking wheels off, all that. It's little stuff like freaking this. There's a hook on the back of the battery box for the coolant tank. Boy, do I hate these battery boxes. Finally out. Swing arm pivot, check, yeah. Why did y'all have to add like a little winker to the freaking coolant tank? Like, I'm pretty sure it's secure enough. Like that, why? Bane of my existence right now. But anyway, inside of the left part of the frame, inside of the right part of the frame, there's the ECM. Okay, those two are out. This kickstand piece, there's a nut on the back of this. Got one there. We got one there, so I'm gonna have to put something on both sides to hold it as I try to turn it. There we go. Got it. Just had to knock it loose. Yep. Awesome. All right, that was easy. There. Gotta remember to put those back. Oh, all that fell. Wow. Ooh, okay. All right. There's a lot going on here. All right, got that. Back that out. Put this on the shelf. We'll know exactly where this goes. Got our spacer in there. That out. Where does that even go? Is that for the top or is that for the bottom? Wait, there's two spacers. Ooh, one probably went right there. Seems that the only thing that's holding this on here is the ECM. And I think, take a screwdriver and pry that. Maybe we can get it out of there. Oh, so that's how you get the ECM out. Had I known that earlier, this would have been easy. So if you're looking to get your ECM out, it's really just prying that. And I guess pulling, let's see. There we go. Left side's off. Swing arm pivot. There's some play in this, but something's still holding this side. Last part is going to be this kickstand. Gotta be careful because when I do this, it's going to loosen it up. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's on a dial. That's what it is. There we go. There's a little dial right there. That's what was holding me up. And plus, the kickstand was applying pressure against it. So, now we're done. Yeah, complete. It's the next day. I came out here and looked at the engine. Yeah, I got a lot of work done yesterday. 12 hours into that. Right now I'm bagging up all the hardware. Still upset about that exhaust, but it is what it is. But the whole reason I took the engine, I guess, out of the bike, took the frame off of the engine. It's because I'm gonna have it powder coated, and there's a lot of little pieces that I also still need to get off of the bike, get bearings out of the swing arm, all that stuff to take to my powder coater. So I still need to actually move the engine off of the jack onto my platform, because I'm gonna be using the jack for other little projects. I'm also gonna be working on other bikes while I wait for these parts to come back. But good news for you is you don't have to wait the weeks that I'm gonna be waiting just to get this stuff back. You can click right here and get ready for the next episode. And also, if you're interested in Patreon, which is another platform that's used to support me as a creator, every patron gets a spot on my wall, and all that helps me continue to make these builds happen, especially in this detail. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link down in the description. If not, cool. But as always, thanks for listening to my story. Hope you learned something. I will see you in the next one. Peace.